How's it going? Welcome back to the Dust 2 project. Today we're going to be working here down in lower tons, just maybe just lower tons, maybe not upper tons for right now. Upper tons is sort of a bigger project, or bigger thing to do than lower tons. So today I had to do a little bit of changing to the map, and my render distance is being terrible right now. So is my computer. Jeez, okay, go away. So, I had to sort of rearrange these to all be covers so I can get it to look like this, sort of like a wallpaper sort of feel, and on the inside of these I'm going to need to change them to their respective blues. Off camera, I had built this. This was just a background building that I feel didn't really need to be built, but after I built it, I was really like, yeah, this was big enough for me to show on camera building. So, sorry about that. And then over here, underneath, or actually no, over here, I finished up the row of buildings. They just need to be detailed. Once again, they're small, simple buildings, so I'll probably leave those. And here is the army jeep. Very, very rough right now, but you can see my process in sort of creating the cars is getting the rough shape, then starting to detail them, and then making them look good. For example, these cars this one sort of started like this, very flat, very plain, and then when I brought it up, I said, well, this still needs to be detailed, so for the green car, I made it into the green car, and added a whole bunch of extra things like a bumper, the floor, the license plate, the lights, the other bumper, just all sort of that good detail stuff. Also, in terms of mechanics, I scrapped the current competitive system. It was terrible, I didn't like it. It was just icky, okay? It was icky. So, scrap that for right now. So the only feature that we have sort of 100% working right now is the deathmatch feature, which I added in off camera because it was just a repeat of this feature changed differently to set things up differently. So, you get thrown in here, you can choose your weapon, you can choose any weapon, and you can choose multiple weapons. Just to show it off, you can choose multiple weapons, you can have multiple weapons of each type, and you get plenty of ammo for each weapon, so you do not have to worry about running out of ammo in the deathmatch. Now, of course, this might be beta tested with the StudTech group when we get together to play it again, and I will make, changes based on that. There was also another bug that I talked about with the gameplay counter. The gameplay counter over here is the B site round reset, which is pretty much the A site round reset redone. So what I had to do is make it so when it tries to count the score over here, it'll activate the command block. The command block will send a block over here. These blocks will do things. This one sets the score of it. This one removes the block that is here. This one removes the repeater over here, for this one, so the T's cannot get their score until it is reset, and just so the T's don't get a score also, because it used to count their score whenever it switched, and that was no good because it was an inaccurate counting, and then it sets back the side repeater, so it sets it back using a set block over here, which chain reacts into a small hopper clock, which is set to the maximum time of the T-side counter, so each T-side timer is set to 64 blocks and 11, so when it is triggered, my frame rate is really being bad today, jeez, sorry about this, it will activate the timer will count down, and when it is done, it is longer than the actual T-side counter, so it will, pretty much without fail, will count down, and when it is counted down, the comparator will activate the redstone here, which sets the command block back here. This is pretty much just the entire system, so if both switches are switched, both teams do not get a point no matter who won. And it is also repeated on the other side, so that is the CT side, which handles the T side, and this is the T side, which handles the CT side. All of that is also repeated all the way over here, using the B site mechanics, or the B site with the same mechanics, using the same features, with the hopper clocks also having 64 and 11 in them, which makes it a whole lot easier, because that pretty much shaves off the entire problem I was having in the first place with counters being wrong. So, again, we're going to be doing some work down here in B-tons. This will have to be a little weird, just because of how this works, and covers are slightly lower, so I feel like we're going to have to use quite a bit of Yigamo Chattel things just to make it look a lot better. We're going to have to use them anyway to shape these sculptures into being their respective sided block. Like on this side they have to be sandstone to match the sandstone, and on this side they have to be the blue blocks to actually match the blue blocks. So there are two pillars here, one pillar here, one pillar here. There are archways that go all the way down, and then another pillar, and then another archway, and another pillar, and another pillar, along with boxes here. So I'm going to sort of figure out the design of a pillar here. I'm going to follow it as best as I can, and then I will be back with you on this side to build it with you to give you the general idea of how it's built. So I will be right back. So this is the pillar design I came up with. It goes from black to the carved sandstone scribbles block, this one, to the normal labyrinth or temple blocks, these mosaic stands like I've used everywhere, back to the scribble block, to more mosaic, to flat, to the mosaic in a 2 wide, 1, 2, okay, 3 wide, and then a 3 wide normal, and then a 2 wide, another one of the temple blocks. This is how it sort of looks in game. Maybe the stand needs to be out just a little bit more. Just a tiny bit more. Let's do that real quick now. But I said I would show like sort of how it's done, but after I did it, I thought it would, well, before making it, I thought it would be a lot more complicated than it actually was. I thought it would be some really complicated design where I'd have to mix in like multiple blocks, and I wasn't sure how it would work properly. Or like if I'd have to show off like what I mixed together, how I mixed it together, just to get the intended effects. But it turned out alright, it turned out a lot better than I expected, and it turned out a lot simpler, that is for sure. I thought it would be, again, a very big mix of blocks that I would have to explain, and it might get confusing, but with the mod pack, of course, there was just blocks in the way to be my savior. In the pack, of course, like, because it nearly matches the texture. These could be a little bit better, and these could be a little bit better. They need to be, like, more of a white and blue texture, like I said for here, but that's sort of it. So it's just a box, it comes in one, and it comes in one again, and it comes in one again, and then there's a small curve in the corner, and then a box at the bottom. So now I need to do that, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then well, it's going to take a little while, but I'll be back in just a split second for you guys, and then we can get going on the curves that go around and the little bit of boxes that are present in tons. Alright, so be right back, going to do that. Also, I'm going to find a way to remedy this. I might just end up taking a whole bunch of Gemo blocks and just covering this up, even if there's going to be like a small bump. It might be noticeable. It depends on how I'm feeling of it. Like, if there's just a big bump here, I want to see how that looks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See how that looks. Like, if it's really obvious, then eh. If it's not, then no. But that's not obvious, so I'm probably going to pull that method and just have that there so we can have all of the proper space in tons without me trying to cut out things and cut out features and such, so we can still have the nice curves and all of the such in tons. So, time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more stands, and we'll be back in a second. Alright, so what I did is took everything, I put up the pillars, and on the edges I put these little things here, which are the linings for what we're about to do next. Now, I missed a spot there, but I took all the linings, I placed them there, so that's the predecessor to what we're going to do next. Now, I'm going to follow what I usually follow for these things. So, let's see, right around here, we need to create a curve. Now, it's going to be a small curve, I can already tell. So, we're going to create a curve, so we need, let's see, one in, so one, and then there, and then, ooh, yeah, very small curve, very, very small. So a small curve like that on every single side, just 1, 2, oops, wrong block, 1, 2, nope, down one, and then in, boop, and then there. And then that curves in all the way, you know what, let's ignore it just a little bit. Let's ignore the in-game things just a little bit. Just a very tiny bit. I want more of a curve. So if we start down here and then bring it up, ooh, and then bring it up, and then up again, and then up again. Actually, maybe if we have 2, and then a block, and then maybe that. Is that a curve? That's a decent curve. Let's try this instead. Like this, and then this. Boom, 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 boom. How's that curve? That curve's a bit better. Maybe it's too curvy, so let's move it back one. Just so we have options. We have options. We always have options. How's that as a curve? That's a pretty good curve. I like that curve. It works well. So then, pretty much, we just repeat that on all of the sides. So this side, we get the same curve, like this, and then out one. Well, this one doesn't follow that rule of right there, but same concept. We go like this, oh wait, down one, and then break, then block, 2 blocks, and then 2 more blocks there, break, 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 curve. So then we fill it in, we have the big curve that goes here on every single side, like this, boop, 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 boop. So that's that curve. This piece doesn't fit in there. That is the wrong piece to be in there. So let's do it on this side as well. So blank, and then piece, oops, and above, and above. There we go. Fill that in so it is filled properly. And then we need to take that, and then those just sort of curve in. So if we just bring those over into their full respective sort of lanes, like this, so they are filling up the spots they're supposed to fill up. This is going to be a little bit of a pain because of how this is positioned. I will only go as far as I can. Let's try and get as far as we can, and that's not very far. Wait. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So then this gets filled up the same. Boop, 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 boop. And then this gets filled up the same. Boop, 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 boop. So as far as that can go, and those are the curves. Although that seems a bit low, doesn't it? Maybe if we just take this away, right? Take that away, and maybe take this one away. How does that look? Sort of less curvy. I don't like it that much. I don't like it that much because it doesn't have that good curve that I like. So maybe, yeah, just put it back. So it looks like it does in-game, sort of. It just doesn't feel thick enough at the top, and we can remedy this by bringing these down one, but everything else would have to be down one as well. So you know what, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to bring it down and then do the little things like this instead. So yeah, that's probably what we're going to end up doing just to remedy the situation. So everything needs to be brought down one. This includes this one. So going to do that quickly once again, and I will be right back. So this is pretty much the arch that needs to go on each side. The problem is, in-game, they have the ability to have a texture on the same plane as a block. So, for example, this block right here, on this side, the side that is facing north, would have this blue texture. On the bottom of it, it is able to have a sandstone texture. Sadly, we do not have this ability in-game, so I have settled for just leaving it normally and filling the bottom side with the sandstone. It looks good enough, it works well enough, and I think it's decent, it matches in-game well enough, so now I just need to do it on all of the sides. But this has to be done a bit off camera. These are long and they take a long time, and we've sort of had enough for this episode. You've seen me make the pillars, you've seen me decorate the room, and you've seen me do the little archways. So that is that for this episode. I sincerely hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, stay fancy, and peace out. Bye-bye.